YouTube podcast world. What's up, family? You already know the name, Pays and Plays podcast here. Going to be giving y'all week 16 of the NFL. Sorry for the late delay. Sorry, I usually do it on Tuesdays, but people know I was out of town. If you know, if you know. But let's go ahead and recap real quickly. Last week, 3-2, making it an overall 39-19-3 for best bet. So 67% win total percentage. They say 55% change your life, and you know, pretty good this year. Let's go ahead and recap real quick though. We had Falcons that won. We had Packers. Yes, I took the Packers last minute when the Packers went to 2.5 from -3, and then I knew that Kenneth Walker probably wasn't playing that game. Something told me to take Green Bay last minute, and I saw it and I loved it. Didn't sweat against that game at all. Broncos and Colts. I had the Broncos 3.5. They won outright. That was smooth. The Falcons won. I'm not going to brag about this one. I had that 4.5. At one time, it was 3.5, and I believe that before the Monday Night Football game itself on Monday, it was at 6.5. And I had a friend of mine that got at 6.5. And I want to give you some advice. If you're going to take a Monday Night Football game, don't bet that number like an hour before the game unless you really like it. I saw it go up to 5.5 and then 6.5. And then if you watch the series of events that went down that Falcons Raiders game, you can't make this up. Even I was sweating at the end. I had 4.5 and I won. I'm not gonna brag about that one, but damn, bro, that right there. And people say the Raiders aren't tanking. To a degree, I feel like their version of tanking is different because the fact that Max Crosby was nowhere to be on the injury report until Monday night, he's out. Come on, bro. That number goes that up because of him not missing that game. I hope you guys know that. So if it was 6.5, it's crazy that Crosby changes that number because of that injury, and he is an impact player. But anyway, Chargers lost against the Broncos. I mean, against the Buccaneers. Correction, they play the Broncos this week, though. I didn't expect the Buccaneers to trounce on them like that. And I will say the last one for last, I did not hit the over 46.5 on the Miami Dolphins Houston Texans game. Shout out to Houston. I went to that game. NRG Stadium is probably going to be the number one stadium that I like. I see why NRG gets everything from Super Bowls to Final Fours to the rodeos. If you haven't been to a game in Houston, I do recommend going to at least one in your lifetime. You will love it. You would enjoy it. But let's get right into it, though. We got the Broncos versus I was about to say San Diego, but the LA Chargers. You got Chargers at -2.5. Chargers to win and cover. Will I face a bet on this game? No. It's a Thursday game. If this was like a Sunday game, oh, I would have been all over it. People already know my future bets, so I just really got one more win for the Chargers. I do think they get this one. The reasons being, Bo Nix didn't really have a good game against the Colts, even though I went Broncos way. And I'm just going to look at it like this, right? Both teams have good defenses. Both are very good coached. But if you ask me which one is better, give me Herbert before you give me Bo Nix, even though Bo Nix has been playing good. But I just think Herbert just shows there's a difference between the two. And it being Thursday, like I said, I'm not touching it, but of course I want them to win so my over bet can hit and we can call it a day. But Chargers to win and cover, it's a borderline best bet. Like I said, if it was another day, I will be all over this. Next game, you got the Saturday game. So this is a Saturday game right here. We got on Peacock. You got the Houston Texans traveling to the Kansas City Chiefs. This line has been changing. I have been peeping since, the numbers have been kind of moving around. You got Chiefs at 3.5 now. So we know Mahomes is going to play. I got the Texans to cover, Chiefs to win. I don't like it at 3.5 because it's just something with that hook. Now, when I saw that 2.5, I saw it even at 1.5 for a minute, Kansas City. I would love any of those two numbers. 3.5, though, I just really don't know. But let's talk about the Texans. We already know what to expect about the Chiefs. The Texans, I think the problem that they may have in this game is what I saw personally. That interior of the offensive line is not good. I mean, if you can't handle the pass rush for Miami, which I think isn't the best, I don't think they're bad, but they're just not that good, though. They're still kind of young. What do you think you're going to experience when you got Chris Jones and Karlaftis? I mean, you got guys coming at you. And that's like my only concern. It being that Arrowhead, like yes, Houston has their defense showed out, and they may have a fighter's chance for sure. But even though Mahomes has a messed up ankle, does that mean anything? Like we seen him win Super Bowls and championship runs with a messed up ankle a couple years ago. So I know deep inside Andy Reid wants to play Carson Wentz and just have, but Mahomes is like, he's gonna come in and play, and you could tell they want that number one home field advantage too. So I think that's also why he's gonna still keep on playing. But give me the Chiefs, like I said, Chiefs to win. Give me the Texans to cover though. If this line goes down, which I don't think this line's going down now that we know Mahomes is going in, I'm not taking this game. So don't even worry about it. Next game, you got the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens -6.5 point favorites. Give me the Ravens to win and cover. Now, I've been asked to really cover this game a little bit more and ask what I think about it that J.J. Watt isn't playing. I think the crap show that went down last week against Philly kind of continues with this game in Pittsburgh. Well, in Baltimore for Pittsburgh. And the fact that Baltimore lost to him last time, there has to be some type of gut revenge feeling that the Ravens want to have. And everyone talks about TJ Watt, he's not possibly playing, but here's my question that I actually agree with a couple other people who's been talking all year. Where has he really been this year? Everyone talks about, oh, he's been double teamed, he gets chipped. And yes, that's part of the game, but I mean, that's no excuse. You're still seeing Myles Garrett. You're still seeing certain other players that are big in-time players. They get double teamed and chipped all the time and still making plays. I think it will hurt them as far as that he's on the field, right? It's the presence thing that I think they will miss. But if I'm Baltimore, man, it's at home. We got to ball out and make a statement. And listen, they can easily get back to being the number one team in the AFC North since Pittsburgh has lost not long ago. Next game, another AFC North game. We got the Cleveland Browns traveling to Cincinnati, take on the Bengals. Bengals 7.5 point favorites. I got the Bengals to win and cover. This is a borderline best bet. I don't like the hook though. So if you know me, I'm always iffy on a 7.5 hook because you have to win by 8. But the fact that I found out that Dorian Thompson Robinson is going to be starting for the Browns, that automatically tells me to go the opposite way. Nick Chubb is going to be out for the rest of the year, broke his foot. It's unfortunate with that guy, bro, because I really do mess with Nick Chubb. I don't even think Myles Garrett may be playing. So this is the sign where I think a lot of these I think they're gonna probably just try to wave the white flag, bro. I think that's the indicator. And Jim Schwartz had a disappointing season as a defensive coordinator. They play a lot of man, so the fact that you're gonna have Jamar Chase one on one, T Higgins one on one, and the way Jamar Chase has been playing the last few weeks, last month, you could say. I don't think there's a receiver that's been as hot as him. And when it comes to this Bengals team, there's still a chance that they could make the playoffs. But this goes to why I say they're so crazy at times, bro, because they come out of nowhere after they've been pretty much one of the bottom tier teams in the league. Now all of a sudden they playing with sense of urgency, but you gotta get a lot of help, and it may have been too late already. Next game, you got the Arizona Cardinals traveling to Charlotte, taking on the Carolina Panthers. Panthers +4.5 point underdogs. Panthers to cover, Cardinals to win. I wouldn't be surprised if the Panthers win this game, bro. It's just something tells me this Arizona overall team roster isn't that well. I mean, Kyler Murray, James Conner, who else you look at? Buda Baker. That's about it, bro. James Harris, I mean not James Harrison, Marvin Harrison Jr. I do think he would be a good player in years to come, but you need another receiver with him. He's more of a possession guy. He's more like the Julio Jones type. He's not like his dad, Marvin Harrison Sr. He's a little bit more, bigger, and when that comes around, bro, it's not like he's a Malik Neighbors type player. But I just have a feeling that this Carolina team is sneaky. A game like this, where we know the Cardinals is kind of in a similar type tier as the Panthers, I wouldn't be surprised if the Panthers find a way to win this game. So I'm going with the 4.5 on the spread with the Panthers to cover. But I do think the Cardinals do win. But it's just do not be surprised. This is a meaning game. This is a meaningless game, and I think people will still take this game as the Cardinals. So just be safe if you're gonna do that. Next game, we got the Philadelphia Eagles at the Washington Commanders. Commanders +3.5 point underdogs at home. I don't even care. You can give me Philadelphia. Give me the Eagles -3.5. You can make that the best bet for me. This team right here, everyone's asking if I don't like Detroit, who I think is the best team in the NFC. You have to argue it's the Eagles if it's not the Lions. I mean, this team is complete. You know, the passing game is a little iffy at times, but we seen when Hurts can go crazy, he can go crazy. We know Saquon's gonna do his part. We know the defense week in and week out is getting better, and they're showing out. So, I like Washington, and I know Washington probably will be a playoff team. But you don't want to have Jane Daniels to have a game on you right now, knowing that you got to possibly deal with him for the next 10 years. So you might as well sweep him now, right? I know, Washington is young, but it's that Cleveland Kingsbury stuff, bro. It's just that when that offense starts to get cold towards a certain time in the year, you have to wonder. I'm not saying it's panic mode, but come on, man. The inconsistency towards the end of the year with Kingsbury, as far as the offensive scheme, it always starts to show around this time. Next game, you got the New York Football Giants traveling to Atlanta, taking on the Falcons. Penix. You got Falcons at 7.5 point favorites. I actually like Falcons to win and cover, even though they got Michael Penix as a starting quarterback. His first game, it's the fact that you got Debato, whatever his name is. That's the guy that's starting for the Giants. So I kind of have to go Atlanta. I mean, I like the opportunity for Penix. I mean, I don't know, man. It's just why not? I just this is they have something to play for compared to the Giants. And the only thing that scares you about the Falcons is coaching, because I just not a fan of Raheem Morris, bro. That Monday Night Football game should have probably showed everybody why I really been fading the Falcons most of the time this year. But this one, I know the Giants team has checked out at this point, and Neighbors is the only player that seemed to try to do everything for this offense, but he can't do it by himself. So give me Atlanta winning cover. Granted, this line was at 9.5, 10 until they said Michael Penix was the starter. So that kind of tell you give me a little bit value now that's at 7, 7.5. If it goes to 7, we got a decision to make. Next game, we got the Tennessee Titans at the Indianapolis Colts. We're gonna make this real short and simple, bro. Give me Colts -3.5, bro. This Titans team suck. I I tell you guys don't bet games like this. And perfect example, I told you guys a couple weeks ago, don't mess with the Titans Jaguars game. I saw everybody I knew all went with the Titans. Look what happened. They lost. This team is done. This team is trash. The Colts, I mean, listen, they had opportunities to win against the Broncos. They were up big against the Broncos at one point. So, I mean, that bet I had would have probably lost if they would have kept it consistent and Jonathan Taylor hang on to the goddamn ball. But I do think they make up for it. And you got Mason Rudolph starting for the Titans. So that will be a little weary because we know somebody like him is going to be a tryhard. So, I'm going with the Colts to win and cover, though. Next game, we got the Detroit Lions traveling to Chi-Town. Baptiste. If you don't know, you know, bro. Chicago was founded by a black person. Do your research. It's a fact. Bears +6.5 point underdogs. Lions to win. Bears to cover. This Bears teams always seem to play the Lions tough in Chicago. So that's just really how I'm looking at it, bro. This Lions team, though, injuries. See, people think I'm hating on them, but these injuries is piling up, man. Come on, Montgomery. I think Gibbs will be okay because Gibbs is drafted in the first round. So I expect him to be I expect his carries to be upgraded a lot more because that's the expectations of you being a first round pick type player. But that hurts losing Montgomery for the season. You're down two corners that serviceable starting corners. So now you got Amik Robinson and Terrion Arnold. Amik Robinson, who's usually an in slot corner, it's time to step up. That's all it is to it. But I think it'll be a tough game. I think Lions win by 3 points. I think 6 points is maybe kind of in that threshold. I just know it's a tough game, and this maybe is the last cold weather game they play this year. So I think will be some difficulty behind that. I will admit. Next game, you got the LA Rams traveling to New York to take on the Jets. Jets +3 point underdogs. I don't care. Give me the Rams to win and cover. I know Aaron Rodgers looked good against the Jaguars, bro, but I mean, I even told y'all to take and they struggled for a minute against Jacksonville. And I know everyone's going to say, "Oh, Rams team, West Coast to the East." This is what I say. The coach Sean McVay don't care about that. He loves going to the Eastern Standard Time zone. Look at the Eastern Standard Time record. Look at it against the spread. This guy knows what he's doing. You got Stafford out there, bro. He's used to playing in the cold, bro. So I don't think it's too much of a hassle. It's crazy. We're getting a Stafford Rodgers matchup, an old school NFC North matchup. Now it's two different teams, and it's crazy thinking about that now, right? But I'm going with the Rams to win and cover. They got something going on, and the only thing that I do think they're thinking is, well, we got to play Seattle next week, and that might determine some stuff. But my goal is, if I'm them, let's go game at a time. Let's win this one against the Jets, because hell, the Seahawks even beat the Jets, right? Next game, you got the Minnesota Vikings traveling to Seattle, take on the Seahawks. Seahawks +3. This one is definitely a borderline. I'm not saying it's a borderline best bet for me, but I think this is a borderline upset alert. I know the Vikings has been good all year. They've been pretty solid, right? You can check it out if you're into BR betting. You can check it out. Packers, Vikings, Lions. Those three teams in the NFC North have been dominating. You throw $100 on them to win. They've been dominating. I just think this game, if Gino does play this game, which I think is he's leaning towards playing, I think it's some difficulty, but I think with the bread and butter for the Seahawks is definitely going to be Kenneth Walker. If he don't play, then it really kind of like messes up stuff, bro. Which is the only reason why I went Packers -2.5 last week. But they do got the corners. I'm not saying they're going to shut down JJ. They're not going to shut down Addison, but they got a secondary that can match up against these receivers. And it's really up to Sam Darnold, right? We know if you give Sam Darnold pressure in his face, he's gonna find a way to throw the game away because that's what he does. I think that's really going to be the biggest question mark for Seattle. Will they be able to do that? Next game, you got the New England Patriots traveling to the Buffalo Bills. You got Bills as a 14.5 point favorite. Oh no, we're going with the Patriots to cover. Bills to win. I think the Bills is already thinking about the playoffs, so I think they will play hard, but I do think some of them will kind of ease up a little bit. And when you got somebody explosive on the other side like Drake May, who he's not trying to lose on purpose, he's trying to do everything he can to keep this game competitive and keep this team competitive. And that's only the reason why I see the Patriots covering this game. I'm not saying they win this game. 14 and a half is a lot of points in this NFL game, and long as Josh Allen, I mean, I can see them losing, winning by 10. I realistically, if you expect a backdoor cover, I think something like that happens. 14 and a half, you know me, I'm not touching that either side, even though I love the underdogs. I'm not touching that at all. Next game, we got the San Francisco 49ers traveling to Miami to take on the Dolphins. Dolphins 1.5 point favorites. Give me Miami to win and cover. It's a borderline best bet. Borderline. I need to kind of look at this more because the fact that, I mean, listen, when it comes to Miami, bro, 2 through 3 picks, the last one wasn't really all his fault because Tyreek Hill got stripped by Stingley. But the first two, you were all right there by the red zone. That's the thing I didn't talk about more about that over 46 and a half with the Miami game and Texans. Tua was throwing pointless interceptions right there by the red zone. If they would have scored about at least once as a touchdown and field goal, we're probably talking about them winning that game outright against Houston. And the overs possibly cashing too while we're talking about that. But you got to figure out which team is more ready to punch their ticket to Cancun or Cabo, whichever place I may be able to see them, right? That's what you're really looking at. And I think it's more towards San Francisco. I don't know how healthy Brock Purdy is. We know about how like total this offense is with injuries. We already know about the distraction about Campbell not playing, not wanting to play. It's so many distractions. You have to ask who's more desperate. I would say Miami because they still have a shot to make the playoffs. It's just that if they lose this week, they're eliminated. And it being at home, I know our East Coast. I know Shanahan's good at that, but he is facing little bro Mike McDaniels. Yes, they are brothers by marriage, so I think there is going to be some type of brotherly battle, and I kind of think Miami has. I mean, bro, they had no choice. They had to have the motivation to win this game. And the biggest question with me is, before I even put this in, is Waddle going to be playing? Because I had no idea that Waddle wouldn't have been out for the rest of the game until a fan next to me looked and said Waddle's not playing for the rest of the game. Is looking like because so this team, both teams is very trash, but 1.5 Miami. I'm flirting with taking Miami as the best bet though. I'm gonna chill for a second because I see it getting juiced up with San Fran plus 1.5, and if it goes down to just one, I got a decision to make. Next game, we got three more games left. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Raiders. Raiders 1.5 point favorites. I'm going Jags to win and cover. I mean, I already told you how I feel. If Desmond Ritter's playing this game again, you really better just take the Jags and Mac Jones. I don't advise you guys to bet this game at all, but some people still will anyway because this game means nothing, right? This is nothing but draft position, and if you're the Raiders, some people watch that Monday Night Football game with the fans having the tanking signs. I mean, you're already number one. Just stick to being number one. We know you want Deion Shador Sanders correction. We already know that's who you guys want. So all right, I'm gonna go ahead and end that game like that. Sunday Night Football, you got the Buccaneers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to Jerry World to take on the Dallas Cowgirls. Cowgirls 3.5 point underdogs. I don't care. Give me Buccaneers to win and cover. You know what? You can actually make this the best bet for me. I saw this number all day, and yeah, this week's a lot of hooks like last week, so I'm aware, right? But something tells me with this game, bro, Baker's gonna have a hell of a game. And I mean, listen, they got arguably Tampa has one of the best offenses in the NFL. You can argue that. I'm not saying they're great, but Baker Mayfield has been impressive all year. And I think this Cowboys team, I like the fight. I like that they're actually trying to play for McCarthy. I have to give them that. And that's the reason why he probably will be staying next year anyway, because they actually have been trying, right? They won a couple games, things like that. But this one, Tampa has to win a type of game like this. And listen, I think the game plan has to be execution right. And I just have the feeling that Cowboys aren't. I mean, they aren't going anywhere, and the Bucs have something to prove. So I'm going with the Bucs to win and cover 3.5. If it's 4, because I see it kind of juiced up the way it's looking, I still would take Tampa Bay at -4 also. Lastly, Monday Night Football game. Not a fan of this one, bro, but we got the New Orleans Saints traveling in Green Bay. Take on the Packers. Packers 14.5 point favorites. You guys know me. I love the Packers. But I'm not taking the 14.5. I take New Orleans to cover, Packers to win. I mean, that's really all I got to say about that game. But a lot of these games, I tell you, towards this time of the year, is going to be some crap type games. But I do want to give you a quick teaser option because I do think there is some good teaser options that I will lean towards. So I will look at maybe teasing down the Ravens. Off the top of my head, if you do 7 points, they're probably going to be like probably like +2.5, +3. If it's +3, that's fine. Take that Bengals, take that -7.5, tease that down, make it a half. They just got to win the game outright. Falcons -7.5, same thing, make that a half. And let's do an underdog one. This sounds crazy, but I do think if you take Pats at 21.5 as a teaser, I don't see how the Pats lose by 22 points, bro. I just don't see it the way my mind's thinking about it. I just don't see that. And I don't know the styles on the the Raiders quarterback situation. So if it's Ritter, and I'm assuming it might be Ritter, I wouldn't mind nudging my nose taking Jacksonville and teasing it up to 8.5 for the 7 point teaser. That's just my opinion. But as guys, sorry for the late content. We will drop best bets on the shorts and TikTok as usual. Follow the Instagram page, Pays and Plays _ podcast. You can see other random plays, recaps of past weeks. That's really what I've been doing. Like I said, 39 and 19 and 3 overall best bet record. It's legit. I have no reason to lie about it. The people who know me know I have no reason to lie about it. It's been a great week. It's been a great year. It's been a great almost every week. It's been a great year. I feel like that's why I'm saying it like that. I'm just talking out of my head. See, doing too much. But as always, guys, like the content, pass the word around, man, and let's be safe out here and get this bread. You already know, right?